Hey, welcome back to Stock Talk with Eric Anthony. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's day is going well as always. Okay, so today I just want to kind of bring to your guys' attention some things that jumped out to me today in the market, including a new board member from NNDM, also known as Nano Dimensions. I wanted to review a key point that I had seen in that shareholder letter that came out from PLTR. Want to review some of the market sentiment regarding the news in Ukraine. First and foremost, we've heard that Russia will be withdrawing some troops. So I don't hear anything about war. But again, like I said yesterday, just kind of keep an open mind with regard to how the news is sent to us in real time. And sometimes these things kind of get played out like a live feed on Twitter, and clickbait is everything, even from no matter what source you may get it from. So just always kind of keep that in mind. Just look at how the market has reacted to this news. And just wanted to kind of touch on some things that jumped out to me regarding our favorite stocks, including ALPP and some volume activity with some of my favorites. Some things that we wanted to kind of keep in mind with the news with Russia. Just some like overall news for market sentiment. And like I've been saying, I think that once we start to see our economy open up and we see that supply chain issue subside, that should be very bullish for the market. So as you can see here today, Disney World has ditched the mask mandate for vaccinated guests. A growing number of businesses and state officials have lifted mask mandates, though the CDC still advises against it. Just kind of keep that in mind. There are many companies, according to Forbes, that are starting to ditch these mandates in what I believe is a bullish sentiment for our economy. As you can see here with some of our favorite stocks that we like to follow, specifically with the genomics sector, everything here is pretty green, including our favorite Bingo, up about just under 7% at the time of this recording. With our favorite Mount Fang, everything is up today about 1 to 2% range. Look at, wow, even Tesla today about 5%. Hopping over to our fintech plays that we like to follow, everything's pretty green today except for Affirm. Affirm is taking a beating, but it is what it is. And another thing we want to look at that I had brought to your guys' attention was semiconductor plays and chips, and just kind of look at how these three companies have responded to the news that we've been hearing as the day has gone on. The market's not closed yet at the time of this recording. Still got about like 45 to an hour left. So of course these prices could change, but unless something catastrophic happens in the next 20 to 30 minutes, I think will just be fine. Okay, let's hop into some news regarding ALPP. As you can see here, Two Sigma Investments, a New York City-based hedge fund that uses a variety of technological methods, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, and distributed computing for its trading strategies, have now just revealed that they have just under 300,000 shares of ALPP. Again, their software is actually quite expensive. As you can see here, the pro version costs $50,000 a year or $5,000 a month. And they have, at the time of this entry, they had over 400 clients, which I'm sure they have many more. But it's always a good sign when you see these type of hedge fund companies that use technology like this to make their approach in investing, that they're willing to have such a large stake or even begin such a large position in a company like ALPP. On February 10th, it was announced that its vertically integrated subsidiaries, Vayu Aerospace Corporation, ElectJet, and Quality Circus Assembly have successfully incorporated ElectJet's solid-state battery into a new battery assembly capable of delivering 1.55 kilowatts of power, named the Vayu A4M1 power system. The A4M1 is roughly 2.5 times more powerful than its current lithium-ion power pack and can extend the GI's vertical flight, the GI is one of their drones, vertical flight capabilities with heavier payloads if necessary. The battery cell is fire resistant, can be punctured and still operate, giving the G1 best in class safety and reliability. The battery is also capable of fast charging at a rate of 4C, which equates to a 15-minute charge time. TK Epley, the president of Value Aerospace Corporation, had this to say: interest for our US-1, US-2, and G1 is building what, and those are the drones, is building with customers around the world. The company has also received inquiries from several customers in the gas exploration and aerial surveillance sectors, specifically for our A4M1 Power G1. We believe the addition of the A4M1 battery pack will redefine what is possible in autonomous flight and lead to increased sales moving forward. And like always, as a shareholder, we always love to hear about sales. So this is fantastic news. Kent B. Wilson, CEO of Alpine 4, also commented that the electrification of aviation and aerospace is on the forefront of what we are doing at Alpine 4 and across our subsidiaries. The vertical integration of Value, Electjet, and QCA clearly demonstrates the strength of our DSF model, or our DSF business model, when multiple subsidiaries align on a project. Our next generation US-2 will be one of the world's first airframes designed around a solid-state power system. The use of our solid-state power technology will be a key component in the future of electric flight due to its reliability, safety, and charging speeds. Again, all great news, all things that you want to hear. That, alongside with the news I had told you in yesterday's video regarding about 20% of the float being occupied by institutions, is just fantastic news. Honestly, I couldn't be more excited. Love to hear about sales, and like I had said yesterday, with the embargo on DJI, the China company that excels in the drone space, that kind of leaves the playing field wide open for American-made drones. And with what ALPP is doing, again, not financial advice, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start landing some bigger contracts as time goes on. Well, as you can see here, Egal Rodham, high-tech entrepreneur and ex-CEO of NASDAQ companies, has now joined Nano Dimension's board of directors. Effective immediately, Mr. Rodham will replace Dr. Eli David, who resigned from the board but will continue to serve as the chief technology officer of the company, leading the company's artificial intelligence, deep learning, and machine learning technologies. Since 2010, Mr. Rodham has served as the chairman and later as the CEO of Finaro Bank, formerly known as Credirax, a principal member of Visa and MasterCard Europe, and a licensed bank. Finaro offers a unified digital, automated, and interactive acquiring and payment processing solution to e-commerce and m-commerce merchants and payment service providers, also known as PSPs. Over the past few years as CEO, Mr. Rodham has led the company to profitability and steady growth of 40% year over year, making Finaro one of the fastest growing members of Visa and MasterCard in the world. Mr. Rodham is also the former founder and chief executive officer of Power Design, which invented and sold power over Ethernet technology chipsets and solutions. Mr. Rodham increased Power Design's international customer base, including HP Inc., 3Com Corporation, Cisco Systems, and others. He then initiated and executed the initial public offering of Power Design on NASDAQ and the acquisition of Power Design 3 years later by the Microsemi Corporation. Mr. Rodham was also the general manager of Butterfly Communication, which was the leader in developing short-distance wireless communication, which later became known as Bluetooth technology. The company was one of the world's pioneers in providing Bluetooth semiconductor solutions to early market adopters and was acquired by Texas Instruments. Mr. Rodham has an MBA in technology management, industrial management, marketing, and finance from Tel Aviv University, and a BSc in electrical engineering from Tel Aviv University. He was awarded the Ernst & Young 2004 Entrepreneur of the Year. Fun fact, one of my best friends from college was actually born in Tel Aviv. Mr. Yoav Stern, Nano Dimension's chairman and CEO, commented, "Eagle is a unique entrepreneur with a multidisciplinary background spanning from advanced electronic technologies to fintech and transactional software and hardware. He is a highly experienced executive and serial entrepreneur with extensive business development, sales management, and strategic business planning skills. He successfully spearheaded companies through entire life cycle stages, including startup, accelerated growth, turnaround, initial public offering on NASDAQ, joint venture, and MA. Igal is who we need to enhance Nano Dimension's board knowledge and support for our unique development pattern. Yoav Stern goes on to say that he's convinced that Igal will add substantial value to our board and our management. Okay, so kind of like what we saw yesterday, sometimes we'll hear about new hires, new board members, and sometimes the share price will react accordingly. Sometimes it's reacting positively and other times negatively, as we saw yesterday with the CPO position for BioNano. Whereas today, with this announcement, it seems that this announcement is actually being received quite favorably. As today, I think NNDM was running around 5% increase in regard to its price action today, which is always a positive. For all those that are still trying to dollar cost average, these type of board members are, in my opinion, pretty pivotal on growth, especially in what areas that Nano Dimension is trying to take. Mind you, remember, they have many contracts with the government. They focus on prototyping, but hopefully with this new board member, we can see the next stages in customer sales and how we can move from just no longer prototyping, but that next step. So something I'm very excited about as a Nano Dimension shareholder. I've been in NNDM since a few years now. I've seen it go up, I've seen it come down, and I've just been dollar cost averaging in ever since. So again, just one of my favorites in regard to the 3D space. I'll leave a couple links to the information that regarding this new board announcement, and I'll also leave a link to just Nano Dimension's page in general, just so you can get an idea of some of the things that they focus on in the 3D space. Okay, so kind of just hopping over to the PLTR letter that I was telling you about yesterday. As you can see here, one of the main things that I took away from the letter was this statement: a commitment to the defense of a nation that rises above the ordinary gestures and theater of our present political life often requires difficult choices and trade-offs. We understand that all technology, including ours, is dangerous, and that software can be used as a weapon. Lives have been saved and taken as a result of the software products we have built. There are risks. Most companies in Silicon Valley attempt to obscure or deny the existence of the exceedingly difficult questions that arise as a consequence of building novel forms of technology that enable defense and intelligence agencies to conduct their operations and target terrorists. So piggybacking off of what Karp just mentioned in the letter, the final two sentences of this letter were, I thought, pretty powerful as well. We build software to ensure the survival of our most vital institutions, and we succeed only if and when those institutions do. Now, if you're new to Palantir and you don't know some of their story, I highly recommend you kind of just taking your time to do a deep dive into your due diligence regarding the company, because a lot of the things that they do is very secretive, but it is quite beneficial to public safety. And I think it's something that doesn't get enough credit. Their reportings, they will do their earnings report on Thursday, so just a couple days before market. As I had showed you guys yesterday, Airbnb will be reporting today. So after the market closes, I hope to kind of get some insight on how they're doing, and more importantly, what their guidance is like. I think that'll be very telling for where we're at from like a travel lodge standpoint. And like always, you know, we've been hearing all this noise, and I know I say it a lot, but just again, keep your high conviction plays at the top of your mind, block out all that noise, and just try to make the best educated decisions with regard to how you foresee yourself hopping in or out of plays depending on market sentiment. I think today was very telling that our market is still very fragile. With any news, I think anything can go up and can go down. As I mentioned before, volume is still pretty low for some of our favorite stocks. Okay, well, that basically wraps up the day. Again, just a little quick review or roundup would be, we hear about the NNDM new board member, got some new information regarding ALPP and what they're doing with some of their subsidiaries and how they're all kind of starting to work synergistically. We've learned that our economy is starting to open up. Look at this, like I had brought to your attention regarding the news with Disneyland and Disney World. And we've heard that some of our fears and just that overall FUD regarding Ukraine is starting to kind of dwindle a little bit, which is always a positive. But like I said yesterday, a lot of people move in silence. So kind of just keep your eyes and kind of keep your ears open regarding what news we hear regarding Russia, China, Taiwan, and Ukraine. The Russia-Ukraine situation has a huge effect on oil, and the Taiwan-China situation, mind you, they have the Winter Olympics going on, so they might want to make sure that optics are staying where they need to be before doing something crazy. So just kind of keep that on your radar. No one seems to be talking about it, but I feel like Taiwan has a huge play with semiconductors, and I just think that's important. Again, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. We learned a little bit more about how Palantir envisions itself as a business and its culture. And today, after hours, we will hear Airbnb and what their future guidance is like. So again, like always, thank you so much for checking in with Stock Talk with Erik Anthony. And I will see you mañana.